also the Equal Pay Act. I can't remember exactly when it came in. Probably the 60s.
Still not equal though.
It's not. Oh, it's not.
It's so not.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Geese Feeders. How do you create immediate tension in the room with girls? You say that men and women have equal pay. We invited our good friends and self-proclaimed feminists Becca and Charlotte into the Geese Feeders lair to debate feminism and the wage gap. This episode is actually sponsored by the Queen. What? How did she find our channel? I'm so happy. The full hour podcast is in the description in case you think we're taking things out of context. You're going to want to stick around for the ending, boys and girls. Let's go.
You can never know until you try it.
I want to get on to what you said about, what both of you said about pay isn't equal. Shall we talk specifically about the UK? So tell me why you said that.
So I don't know if the study was done in the UK or if it was done in America, but so they took they done two different kind of like experiments. One was looking at, I'll find the link and I'll send it to you. One was looking at, you know, women in general across all jobs, across all degrees, against what men get, like, not looking at like, you know, what job they were in, you know, they were just looking at it. And I think that is still important. And for every $1 a man made, they made something like 81, 86.
You mean the other way around, women
Oh,
made 81?
yeah, sorry, yeah, women made like 80 cents and something. And that's bad because, you know, women, I think there are things that contribute to why women choose a.
I think we don't have equal opportunities, so we can't have equal pay.
Yeah, so I think that study is still very relevant. But then they also done a study on women that had the same jobs, the same degrees, the same life experiences, the same like. It was a smaller sample study because it was harder to find, but they were looking at women who were the same as men and what they earned, and they found that for every $1 a man made, a woman made something like 91 cents in comparison. So they were very, they took into consideration.
I think a lot of bigger companies as well, when they're hiring, they will choose a man over a woman and pay them more because they see women as potentially having to leave to go on maternity leave, or you know what I mean. They don't see them as an asset to the company as much because of the gender differences.
So we say no kind of prejudice in the workplace to have required in that aspect.
Definitely.
I did a load of research on it and then I sent it to my friend.
Interesting.
And there was this like, I can't find it. I think it's too old. But yeah, and there was this like whole thing about because you're a woman, the fact that you could potentially have a child later on in your career, and they found that in the study where, you know, they were at the same women that start the same like part of the job as men progress further and are more likely to be promoted because they think that women are going to leave their jobs.
That's interesting.
I know it from personal experience.
No, I mean, I want to talk about like there's another statistic. Well, I mean, it's an aim that I saw something like a survey was doing. They want, you know, Fortune 500 companies, like the big companies in the world. They aim to do it by, I think, the end of this decade. That all Fortune 500 companies.
FTSE 100. Huh? FTSE 100.
Oh yeah, FTSE 100. Yeah, that's it. They would aim for 50% of their CEOs to be females. What do you think of that?
Trying to tick a box.
Positive discrimination is just there's no better.
So do you agree with me that kind of sense of positive discrimination?
Yeah, the whole point of as a feminist and everything, the whole point should be that you pick the best person suited for the job. I don't want to get a job just because I'm a woman. Yeah. I want to get the job because I'm deserving of it, because of my experience. Yeah. You know, I think that's bad. But I want to hear more about what you said about your personal experience with. Oh shit! Yeah.
I'm not talking about. Okay, is it alright if I've been listening very carefully to what you've both been saying, and I have rebuttals for everything. That's not that. I'm not disrespecting what you've said. It's that I've listened and I'm going to give my response. So, I would say that based on, you know, a multitude of factors, that women are on average earn less than men as a group of people, as the gender. It's because of choice and not inequality. And that's because there's a multitude of factors that go into why the wage gap statistic is there. One of them is that the majority of difficult jobs, like dangerous jobs, are done by men, and they're on average paid a lot higher than, let's say, an office job. one of the main personality traits that get you higher jobs and higher places in your office, let's say, is agreeableness, one of them, and that's typically a masculine trait. More guys, the hyper percentile of men that are, you know, running most of FTSE 100, they're doing that because their hyper masculinity that makes them incredibly disagreeable has pushed them to the top of that. Girls, on average, are not as disagreeable as men, meaning that they can start at the same pace as the male counterpart, but on average, the girls are going to go down, and the guy's going to go up because the guy has disagreed and tried to fight for a higher place on average more than a woman.
But it's like, because, so if a guy, like, Nicki Minaj says it as well. So it's like, as a guy, if you're assertive and you're dominant, you're a leader and you're all these good qualities, but because of gender differences, I'm a bitch and I'm arguable and I'm like, you know, if we done the exact same things and said the exact same things in a job, everyone would be like, oh, he's so good at his job. But me, they'd be like, oh, what
Get
bitch.
rid of her.
Get rid of her. She's.
I would say in most circumstances, yeah, but that's because men and women are different. You know, going back to what you said about, you know, they actually took a smaller pool of men and women earning different money, like the guys earn more. That's illegal. Was it the JFK Equal Pay Act? I know it's in America, but I'm pretty sure there's a comparable one in the UK. It states that you literally cannot pay a woman less if they are doing the exact same job. And with that logic, why wouldn't offices or any jobs hire all women if it means that they can pay them less? You know? Because wouldn't that be a better business plan?
So that means everything that's going to be happening is illegal.
Yeah, it is illegal.
It is illegal,
but it's happening.
I would disagree with your point over that they're more likely in different jobs to pick a man over a woman. I think that's very different now, specifically, in the sense that affirmative action is a real thing. If a man and a woman have similar, let's say, you know, their exams and that, they get similar results and similar experience, they're most likely going to pick the woman because of affirmative action, and they want to diversify the workplace in order to not look bad to, just society in general. So I think guys in some ways are at more of a disadvantage. Specifically, I'm not trying to victimise myself, I'm going purely off stats and logic, is that, you know, white men specifically are at a certain level of disadvantage when it comes to getting jobs now, because every place wants to diversify the workplace, if you get what I mean. There's a lot of affirmative action. Did you know that in American universities, black people have to score less in order to get into universities, and Asian people have to score more than white people to get into universities? That's positive discrimination for black people, but it's just pure racism on both ends. It's racist that the Asian people have to work harder than everyone else.
I agree. I think positive discrimination is like no good as just regular discrimination. Well, maybe that's not for argument, but yeah, it's bad. It's not good. But I also think, you know, as like, I don't know how you got to the where you are. You know, the school that you got to, and just, I don't know, there are more factors in it, like
intersectionality.
So like the black people might be at more of a disadvantage, you know, school wise, location wise, for example, you know, than a white man. So, you know, I don't get, you get what I'm trying to say? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Well, what do you mean as in, because black people in general come from like lower socio-economic classes, they're not willing to get the same opportunities as the average white man would.
Yeah, from the offset, they don't have the same opportunity.
And like, okay, say you've, I don't know how, I don't want to be like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but like,
we can cut it if you say anything that you don't like.
Yeah, like, you know how, you know, if you come from a really rich background, you're more likely to afford tutors and things that enable you to get to that position. So it's not just like,
It goes back to that quote, was that you have to work twice as hard to get half in life.
Yeah, you're at a disadvantage. You might not be. It might be at an advantage when applying to college, but you're at a disadvantage in other areas.
Okay, so you do. So you are justifying like Kian's statistic you mentioned earlier.
I'm not. Like, I wouldn't say I'm justifying.
No, but you do understand in that aspect.
Pardon?
So do you understand the statistic, or you just?
I get it, and I think it's wrong, and I don't think, because, you know, you don't know anything about the person and what their life is. I'm just saying that there might be reasons to why they do that. Not that I think...
I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but I think we're talking about the general sense, rather than something that could be an extreme case.
Yeah.
That's fine.
my only last point is that I want to leave it by saying that affirmative action is incredibly racist and
What's
sexist.
affirmative action? What does it
Affirmative action is it's quotas put in place in the workplace or in universities, anywhere where they purposely choose people of
to fulfil their
of,
device quota.
yeah,
device
basically, yeah.
I hate that having to tick a box when you're like doing an application, or am I gay, straight, and all
Yeah.
that.
Why does it matter?
Because
Yeah,
what you said
yeah.
before about you don't think that men and women have an equality of opportunity, all laws state that they do. I don't have an issue with equality of opportunity. I have an issue with equality of outcome, because that in its nature is sexist and racist. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, there's a law not to murder people, but it still
That's just the
happens.
government trying to control society and trying to act like they're doing good, though, isn't it? Really?
I won't argue with you in saying that sexism definitely plays a part in why some women don't progress as fast as
Of course.
men. But you know, reality is amoral. Reality is sexist because men and women are fundamentally different. So, you know, people will complain at the fact that, well, you know, what if I get pregnant and I have to leave and then I'm not getting paid as much, and then on average I'm going to lose a lot of money compared to the guy that's working who started at the same time. That's just the reality of the world. You can't change your biology. If you want to have a child, there's consequences that come with that. And likewise, if you want to be a career woman and don't have a
But
child,
why? Why should I have to? Why should that? Why should I just accept that?
Yeah, why should you be
Why
able
should
to
because-
acknowledge
oh, I'm
from
a
your
woman,
biology? You
so-
can't help it.
You know, because it's my biology, I guess I'll just, you know, settle for the fact that you'll probably earn, some guy's going to earn more than me.
well, but that's the thing is with that though, is that it's a very defeatist mindset.
Yeah.
If you go into life thinking I'm at a bit of a disadvantage on average when it comes to in the workplace, then you're never going to excel. You know, there's a reason that something like 9 of the top 100 FTSE businesses in the UK are run by women. It's because they've defied all the odds. They know that there's some disadvantages when it comes to the workplace, but they've still fought because they've realised that, you know, I don't need to feel defeated at the fact that things are different for me in comparison to a man.
But if
Yeah.
I just accept that it's biology and accept that, you know, there is just general sexism, if I just accept that, surely I'd be like, oh, well...
But you shouldn't see it as defeat, you should see it as rather motivation to actually help you put in more effort to improve as a result.
Yeah.
So it's like how we were talking about earlier in that kind of sexual relationship and stuff like that. Because when you told me about this whole idea of, you know, women might prefer a man for their values, like if a man was richer, if a man was better looking, if a man did this and all that. And I was like, oh, I'm such a disadvantage and stuff, I might as well give up. But I didn't say it as that, oh, I should give up. I should think, oh, I should actually improve more myself, get more
we
money,
have to
yeah,
work
get into the
harder.
gym, work harder to actually get what I
Men
deserve
don't
in
have
that
to
kind of
work
sense.
harder, that's why.
I
No,
shouldn't have to work
that's
harder.
not true because men have the burden of performance. What we said earlier, women are born with value, men have to create their value.
100%.
We have to work hard, otherwise we will never find a partner.
In
Basically.
in like a sexual relationship way, but in like work terms.
In
Would
work
say
terms.
men, yeah, like if you're getting a job, if you're talking about like the CEO.
So men and
Well-
women have to work hard in different aspects of their life, harder than the opposite
Yeah.
gender, because
Yeah.
men and women are different. Reality is sexist. You know, it's going to be more difficult for you to earn high money because there's a chance that you will have a child one day and that will severely, you know, damage how much money you're earning. If you're born a man, you have to work hard, otherwise you won't find a partner. No one will marry you for sure. There's a lot of there's a lot of things put in place in modern society to disincentivize men from certain things. Like marriage is a terrible establishment for men because everything pretty much is in favour of the women. Men lose generally about 50% of all their earnings if they divorce from a woman. And 80% of all divorces, I believe, are initiated by women, which is interesting, but I'm getting off topic anyway. But this is a really important conversation. You know, like, this wage gap discussion specifically is really important. It's good to talk about these different things because we all have such different perspectives on why these things play out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true, all in different